Hey Vikings, today we're going to be talking about why you should never resurrect troops, even if you have the daily buff. I'm just going to kind of quickly show you my training speed. We'll get a little bit more into this here, and in a separate video I'll talk more about how you want to stack your training speeds to maximize your benefits. But this is where I am right now. This is as high as I can get, except for the KVK buff. We did not have the 10% boost from winning KVK Revenge, and so that's the one thing that I'm missing there from the daily buffs, which does make a pretty big difference. If you don't know, there's kind of two classifications of buffs, or of any type of Q reduction speed. There is what you get from buildings for training speed, specifically your manners. There's your equipment, your hero slash shaman skills. So that all falls into kind of a category, and then there's the daily buffs, the buff from KVK, KVK Revenge victories. There's the item buffs like your town skin uh, and the warrior training item, and then there's the reputes from the place of power. Those that group functions differently and actually gives you a lot more benefit. So those you really want to focus on stacking those, but that's a topic for another video. So just to kind of take a look at where I am with those buffs, I'm at 18 seconds to train one tier 5 troop, and that's the number we'll kind of focus on primarily here. Okay, and so we already kind of talked about these. These are the most important buffs that you want to have. Um, the next thing we're going to take a look at is we're going to take this res cost for resurrection cost. So this is with the daily buff um, to reduce the cost of resurrecting. So you've got 9 gold per tier 5, 0.75 gold per tier 1. So this is going to be our main sheet. Just have that plugged in there, 0.75 and 9. We're going to be looking at 100,000 troops resurrected versus trained. So the total gold cost for the resurrection, 75k and 900k. Now let's take a look at um, the boost huge coffer. So if you aren't already aware, the best way to spend your gold if you're trying to grow via either um, training troops or knowledge is to use your gold to buy this thing right here. So these items have been plugged into this table over here. We find out we get 388 hours per boost huge coffer. The other coffers of boost can be useful, but you get less gold per, or it costs more gold per hour um, for those. So unless you're just trying to get smaller boost sizes for a specific thing, you want to kind of stick with this one if you can. So then we took the 388 hours and then divided the total gold cost right here by 388 hours. The gold per hour is 108. So we're going to take that, put it over here, and then if we put in, so the tier 1 training time is 1 second for, it's between 1 and 2 seconds. It doesn't give you an exact, but, and then 18 seconds here. So 54,000 gold if it's 18 seconds each. We've got, just to kind of explain this table right here, we're just looking at 100,000. So 18 times 100,000 is 1.8 million seconds. To get that into minutes, we divide by 60. To get it into hours, we divide again by 60. And then to get the total gold cost, we're going to look at the number of hours, so right here, times um, the gold cost per hour. So it's 54,000 gold for me right now to train 100,000. Actually, it's going to be 10% less than that if I did that on the day where it's there's a boost to how much you get from boost. So actually, if we looked at that, equals this times 0.9. That may be slightly off in the math there based on, yeah. But this is roughly what it was going to cost me there versus 900,000. So if we look at the difference there, uh, so it's going to cost me about 5% what it would if I resurrected them. So yeah, very gross difference in the cost. The big thing, really the thing that you're not accounting for, or that the game doesn't account for anytime you're purchasing something with gold, is your any of your training speeds. It's going to be the same same cost in gold to resurrect regardless of how much training speed you have. Um, to the lower or the less training speed you have, the fewer buffs, the better it is to buy with gold, but it's still never going to be useful. So to kind of take a look at that, um, I went ahead and set my account so I've got no pop buff in this picture, um, and I switched to Wendella. Wendella didn't really make much of a difference, but switching to the no pop buff really place of power. For those of you that aren't used to that term, made a pretty big difference. Actually, actually no, this one was just with Wendella removed. I messed that up. And all of this was with the 30% training speed buff, by the way. Um, so this one did have the pop buff, but when I took the pop buff off and I took Hero Gear off, went up to 26 seconds. So I think my actual total training speed was down to around 500% at this point. And so 26 seconds here, we're still looking at 70k gold um, instead of 900k. So it's still very gross. The difference. You should never ever train um, or resurrect troops, just period. So that's just about it. It's really not too difficult to figure out how much your training difference is going to be versus the cost to resurrect. If you want to set that up yourself, I would definitely advise doing so if you're skeptical. But yeah, if you found this video interesting or helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe for more, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Thanks. See you all next time.